So, hi guys. Yep. So, this will be the last class before we are going to visit the elderly next week, right? Yeah, we're going to visit the elderly next week. Are you guys excited or scared or worried or tired or, what's your feeling? Yeah. If you have any questions, please feel free. Miss Hong and I are going to be here today and can answer your questions because you will prepare yourself, to have the interview for next week. In the Miss Hong will be giving you the information about the address and everything. Yeah. So today we shall be talking about Chinese philosophy. Yeah, it's nice. I think it's nice for us to learn that because maybe, well, I think I found what I noticed, that I've been doing research for counseling, but what I realized that, well, most of us here are Chinese, right? Most of us, and there are 3 English speaking students in this class. Most of us are Chinese or Cantonese or from different province from China or in Hong Kong. But then I noticed that Hong Kong is a very interesting place. Hong Kong has a very unique history that actually we are under the system of westernized education. I teach another class about the history of Christianity and history of education and the history of social service in Hong Kong. It's very interesting that actually Hong Kong has a long history. The missionary and the British has came to us since the 17th century in Hong Kong, and they helped to build our educational system, medical system, and social service system. So actually, Hong Kong people are very much westernized. Don't you agree with that? 即係好中西文化合璧嘅地方啊，香港。Yeah, Hong Kong is a big melting pot of the Western and the Eastern philosophy. So we talked about Christianity last week, right? And then next time after the first visit, we shall be talking some Western philosophy about the matter of life and death also. So today we shall be talking about Chinese philosophy and how it affects us about our beliefs in our lives and death also. So maybe some of you, I don't know, I think it's quite awakening that, I don't know, I realized that, whenever I'm doing research about all this kind of teaching, I noticed that sometimes we really take it for granted. We didn't realize, as a Chinese person, we don't really realize our own culture sometimes. Maybe during Chinese New Year or some holiday, then you will notice that, there's a lot of Chinese culture here in Hong Kong, but we take it for granted. So we actually need to pay more attention because we are going to be visiting some elderly people, right? We're going to be having some practical experience. And then these elderly people are the last probably 2 generations or 3 generations before you, right? So they have even stronger Chinese culture than us, So actually, well, originally we are Chinese people, but we are very much westernized. Well, I understand that, in the previous years in Hong Kong, there was a lot of cultural conflicts in Hong Kong, political conflicts in Hong Kong. So actually a lot is about, the new thinking, maybe, or westernized thinking, or Chinese thinking, Chinese culture, westernized culture, democracy, and collectivism, individualism. A lot of things is like, mixing a lot, in Hong Kong. So I think it's very interesting for us to review, to think about that, especially, well, I understand that a lot of well, for me also, it happened to me. Well, I have big problem having communication with my previous generations. I have been telling you, I have big problem having relationship problem with my own parents and all these aunties and uncles, So maybe, I don't know whether you guys, maybe I ask you, whenever you are communicating with your own parents or your aunties and uncles, Do you find difficult sometimes as a Chinese person？ 你哋有邊個會同即係上一輩嗰啲人溝通係有啲問題，覺得有啲困難冇啊？咁好啊！哇 ，very good, no problem at all, very good. You seem to be a very 乖 boy, yes. Yes. What about any of you? You found that you have any problems or difficulties communicating with your senior member in your family？ 有冇人有㗎？即係有啲困難啊？有冇㗎？ Chinese culture, you know? Nobody? Yes or no? Anybody have problem or no problem? Or no communication at all, actually? So no problem. No communication, no problem. 多做多錯，少做少錯，唔做唔好錯啦。笑啦，係嘛？笑啦。Yeah. So I like it because we have to prepare ourselves. We're going to be meeting. Each group have one elderly person. We heard the news that we have some gentlemen and some ladies also. We're going to meet. Okay. So today we shall be reviewing some Chinese culture, so that to prepare ourselves in terms of life and death situation and life and death, matters of life and death, to prepare ourselves. How are you guys feeling? Are you guys worried? Or are you guys, you think you are okay? You're ready to meet them? Any of you think you are ready to meet them? 準備好未？有得 Okay, good. 哇 good 哇好啊，有啲 positive 啊 some of you are positive. Yes, some of you are positive. Or some of you are slightly worried, little bit worried, or little bit scared, or little bit not so sure. Yeah, some of you there. Thank you for your honest sharing. That's very good. Not so sure. Yeah. Some of you are, I don't know, indifferent, maybe indifferent. I don't know. Or I don't know what am I going into. Actually, I'm just taking a course. I don't know what will happen, So we hope to prepare ourselves to review Chinese culture today, okay, in the matter of life and death, okay? Yeah, Chinese people, actually, there are so many Chinese people in the world, actually, different origin, and some of them are migrated, in the US, in China, there's a lot of a big population, Chinese people, and Eastern culture. Actually, a lot of the countries are influenced by Eastern culture, Korean, Japan, Southeast Asia. A lot of the places are influenced by Eastern Chinese philosophy, right? So you can see this PPT. We have Indian culture, and we have the Western culture. The Greek culture is all divided. 即係有四大文明嘅流派嚇。So you see the Egyptian, and both, so that it's like combined actually the Western. So basically now it's like we divide, actually it's the Eastern and the Western, basically. So we talked about the Christianity last time, and we shall be talking about some Eastern Greek philosophy. We will be talking about that after we visit the elderly. So today we'll prepare ourselves to think about a bit Indian or Eastern philosophy, okay? Yeah, so what are we talking about? Actually, in the Chinese philosophy, actually, it started from, the Yellow River 黃河流域, the Chinese civilization, and then it has been, thousands of years, the Chinese philosophy and culture already. So basically, we shall be talking about three big philosophies. Confucianism, 即係儒家啦，係咪? And Buddhism, 係佛家啦. And then Taoism, 道家, okay? So actually, Chinese people are greatly influenced by these three different philosophies. They still have Fat Ga, and there's many other Gas, right? There are still, but we will just focus the main. Actually, the Confucianism is, the Fat Ga also is like under the umbrella of Confucianism, is about that. So legalism, So we shall be talking about these three main philosophies mostly, okay? Yes. Okay. Yeah, there are some other highs. I would like to say hi to the students online. So if you have any questions, welcome to, put on the chat also, So, okay. Yes. Okay. So firstly, we shall be talking about, Confucianism, 孔子, 孔夫子, 孔子, Okay. So he was born a few hundred years before Christ, So actually, he lived in a very society. It was a very chaotic time. 好亂嘅時候啊，yeah. So it was in the Zhou dynasty around that time, around those era， 即係嗰段時間咧。It was very, chaotic, and a lot of war time. If you know your Chinese history， 即係好多中國嘅歷史都係好多戰亂啊，係咪啊？ So that's why his background, this 孔夫子 actually he was very hoping for harmony。佢好即係有時人嗰個發展就係咁啊。Sometimes what we don't have, we want。即係我哋唔好想冇嘅嘢就好想要嘅嚇。So at that time the Chinese background was a lot of conflict. So and then there was not many good kings， 冇乜啲好皇帝啊嗰啲時間係咪 ？So that's why 孔夫子 was really hoping for a sage king， 即係好想有一個聖人君子啊，好想they really hope there's a 聖賢君可以有一個very good king。So he thought, so that's why he created this philosophy. It's all about 即係孔子呢個咧係 a lot about human relationship。So I try to make it simple I try to not make it so complicated。我希望唔好將啲好簡單嘅嘢好複雜，我哋希望將啲嘢複雜簡單化嚟講So actually there's a lot of this kind of philosophy in Chinese people's mind。Chinese people usually 即係以和為貴啊，係嘛？係咪㗎？唔好咁鬧交啦，和諧和諧，和諧和諧，係咪咁啊？ Yeah, Chinese people is like that, right? That's why. So this is actually it's not only this generation or not only older Chinese generation. It's actually thousands of years ago. Some people really, really yearn for, social harmony, social order. Can you imagine in the old days, China was very chaotic. 即係以前好亂世啊，係嘛？咁嗰啲人好希望有和平啊。So at that time, 孔夫子 so he built up this kind of school, and he thought that 即係佢認為啦 if we have this a lot of rule of conduct， 即係如果我哋人人都做好自己個本分if everybody can have a rule of conduct， 即係做好嗰啲仁義禮智啊，即係 we follow a lot of the rules and regulations, then he thought that then we can have a solution, we can have a result that we can have a good, harmony, society. So, okay, I'm not going to bore you to death. I'm not going to go into the details, but I just hope to highlight some main points, okay, so that you can get into your head. 嗰啲四書五經嗰啲我唔講得多啦。The details of the book and what they talk about, I'm not going to go into details, okay? So their 即係佢哋嗰啲canon 啊，即係佢哋嗰啲書嚇，like a Bible, for Western people. But then I'm not going to go into detail, but I want to tell you one thing. It's quite interesting. Is this system called 科舉科舉啊？有冇聽過科舉啊？有啦，笑啦，大家都有啲都。Actually, we are suffering still from this 科舉啊。You understand that? Actually, it's very interesting that this 孔子 was from Zhou dynasty, okay? But actually, his belief wasn't so popular when he was alive. 通常啲人都係死後先至會受到人尊重嘅，係咪？生前嘅時候咧，冇人尊重 ，nobody respect him when he was not many people respect him when he was alive. He wanted to build a good country, but then he was too ahead of his time. So and then until Han dynasty 去到漢朝咧，佢嘅信念咧先至即係被尊崇啊until Han dynasty, and then they built up this 科舉成個漢朝開始咧就有呢個科舉制啦。So it's actually good system for that way, because at that time usually only the noble 嗰啲貴族嗰啲人先可以入到皇宮做嘢啊嘛。以前係咪掌權只係嗰啲貴族啊，佢哋嗰啲即係士農工商啊，即係 even the rich people 係好低級嘅咋，即係嗰啲士讀書人啊，咁所以咧maybe the noble people 啲貴族嗰啲人咧先可以即係they can rule, helping to rule the country. But then in the Han dynasty, they have this very good system. So they 佢哋推舉嗰啲文人啊 ，maybe you have already studied about that in Chinese history class. So actually that means 即係可以有上游啦，係嘛？ So that the people to study their Confucianism， 佢哋係主要係讀四書五經嘅。Usually the curriculum， 即係佢哋呢個科舉咧，去考科舉 that means 即係嗰啲你會聽過狀元啦嗰啲啦，係咪？ They can become officials 如果係讀書讀得叻嘅 they can become the official if they can study well they can become the officials of Chinese government 即係可以上得上流啦。So actually this system 我哋都唔知道喎。This system actually in the 17th century 17世紀嘅16、17世紀嘅時候咧，其實咧係由中國傳去西方喎。Actually, when a lot of people come to China to do trade, and then they notice that wow, this system is good, and then so they copy the system. And 呢個係嗰啲精英制啊，即係西方社會嗰啲歐洲嗰啲精英制咧，即係除咗貴族 ，apart from the royalty, the nobilities, and then that's why the civil servant system 西方嘅嗰啲叫做政府官員嗰啲系統咧，係抄我哋中國嘅原來。即係除咗嗰4大發明粥粉麵飯之外咧，即係apart from the paper and all this stuff that is invented by China, actually 科舉examination was invented by Chinese people, and then so that's why nowadays we are still suffering from DSE, we are still suffering from GCSE, right? If you are from the Western stream or IB, all these open examinations were originally from this system, 科舉. Okay, so what does it mean actually? What does it mean? That means if you want to earn money, if you want to get high up in the society, if you want to climb the ladder from the society, you have to study, right? You have to study. You have to get to know these books, this traditional Chinese education. Then you can become an elite. And you can study and you can join the government, you can be the ruler in the country. So that means actually this kind of system, try to rethink about it. 即係試下去反思下呢啲歷史啊。Actually, history always repeat itself. So we are still under this system, right? Because why you are in BU? Why you are in BU? Because you passed the exam, right? You got a good grade in the exam, DSE, right? Or you had GCSE or DSE, right? That's why. So this guy, 孔子, he was responsible, okay, for our exam. So nowadays wait, oh, okay. So it's okay. So maybe you can turn it. It's okay. So nowadays for I don't want to hear my own voice. It's all right. I say okay. Good. Okay. So nowadays, even the system in university, right? We have your GPA, right? You have a GPA, and then we have to work hard, and then it's actually a very deep-rooted philosophy. That means if you work hard, you can be a respectable, good person. Then you can say 搵食啊，係嘛？ You can get your job, you can be respected in the society. 即係唯有讀書萬般皆下品啊，唯有讀書高啊，係咪啊？ Very deep-rooted in the Chinese thinking. Why are we okay? Do we have to study? I don't know whether you ask this question or not. I ask the students a lot of students thinking, why am I here? Why am I studying? What's the meaning of going to university? Why this system is like this? Why I have to pass the exam? Then I get a job. Why like that? So now you understand who to blame. 呢個孔子啊, blame him, okay? Yeah, so understand. But this is very deep-rooted in Chinese people's thinking. Wow, you have to work hard, you have to study, okay? You have to be learning the morality. 要讀書係要學道理，要識得做一個好人嚇。Then you can become a good person. This is Chinese belief. Okay, understand? Get it? You are suffering from it, so you must get it. Okay. Okay. So and then other basic, like that's why. So it's explained already. In Kongzi's belief, we have to be fair. We have to work hard to become a 君子，即係做個君子啊。君子同小人，你寧願做咩啊？君子 the opposite of 君子 is 小人 little man. If you translate directly, okay, you guys are gonna be graduated, and then you're gonna be working in a company. The people you have to avoid is 小人 Okay, you have to avoid the little man. I don't know, some of you are English speaking here, right? Maybe you don't know what am I talking about. What are you talking about, little man? Right? There's a saying in Chinese philosophies. So 君子, that means a sage, that means a perfect person. 小人, a little man, means a bad guy. 即係小人 there's a you know there's a saying that they can spoil things 啊，即係成事不足敗事有餘嗰啲就小人啦，係咪？So in the Chinese philosophy, in the Kongzi's philosophy, they try so hard to be a good person. 要做一個君子，謙君子 ，OK? To do the right thing, to behave in the right way, to have a good, being perfect, being a saint. 要做一個聖人啊，聖賢人啊 ，holy man, become a good man. This is what Chinese people hope for. And then how do you do that? It's like through a lifetime of self-cultivation. 即係要成世喺度修煉咁啊，讀書啊 ，study. Then you have to love your knowledge. You have to learn to be a good man. Learn to be a good human. 係就係直頭係 it's like a king. A king also like to have to be a good man. Because why is it so important for Kongzi? Like in the old days, if a king is a good man, the whole country like enjoy, right? Because if the king is good, but if a king was bad, the whole country suffer, right? In that time, 即係邊個嗰個皇帝係好，就大家都好好啊，係嘛？天下太平啊。個皇帝衰咧，is really bad, So that's why Kongzi was thinking, that's why everybody should be a good man, and then we can be good king, good rulers, So this is why he want to promote this message. Everybody should be 即係如果所有人都好人啦，就天下太平啦，咁樣嘅意思。Okay, so it's still quite, to some extent, it's still true. It's true, right? You hope that your group mate is good, right? You hope that. You hope that your group mate is not free rider, right? You hope that your teacher, your 老師 is good, right? You hope your parents are good, and you hope that your boyfriend is good, your girlfriend is good. If everybody's good, there's no problem in the world anymore, right? So this is the hopes and dreams of Kongzi. So how we say is like we have to have the virtue， 即係我哋要有啲好好嘅道德啊，好好嘅 very good， for example 仁義禮智嚇，仁 means love。You can see the word 仁 is like仁字係you can how to write the word 仁 is the left hand side you have a man, right? 仁嚇，the right hand side have a two cross, two person, right? Have two, right? So that means it's between two person, the relationship between two person. 仁 means love. The direct translation is love. That means you have to have good relationship with people, then you have to care, you have to love. It's between two person. 仁愛係咪? Okay, so 義 is justice. You have to be doing the right thing. You have to be rational and responsible. So the second is 義嚇，即係公義啊，like that, righteousness. The third one is 禮嚇。That means you have to be polite. You have to be having the good manner, right behavior. You have to be modest. You have to be, having good relationship with people, like that. And then 智 means wisdom. Okay, you have to be smart, you have to be understanding, you have to be studying, you have to be thinking, having good judgment. And then 信 also, that means you have to be faithful and honest. So for one person to have this quality, it's very good, right? Isn't it? 仁義禮智, I don't know whether you learned that in your secondary school. Some of the secondary school 係仁社啊、禮社啊、義社啊, the house, for the school, they use this kind of word. Okay, so you guys get it, right? You guys get it. So this is what we try to learn. But then you can imagine, what is the effect when everybody try to be good? What is the effect? And then you think about it. That means, well, one side is good. The other side, that means it's kind of like a pressure, isn't it? That we have to be good. I don't know whether you feel that or not. I don't know whether you feel that. Sometimes we want to be a good person. We want to be a good student. We want to be a good son. We want to be a good daughter. We want to be a good classmate. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. Were you a good boyfriend or good girlfriend? Did you give 99 pieces of rose to your partner? Like that. So we want to be a good person, right? It's a lot of pressure, isn't it? It's a lot of pressure. Okay, another thing. Okay, what is the belief about life? About life, because we're talking about the matter of life and death, right? So in Confucianism, 命運啊，命啊，生命啊，命運嚇。That actually there's a meaning underneath is fate. For Chinese people, they really believe in heaven. Like, okay, but last week we talked about Christianity, we believe in God, right? For Christianity, we believe in God. For Chinese people also, for Confucianism, they also believe in the heaven. 即係信成事在人啊，係咪啊？唔係求事在人，成事在天啊嘛。That means if you work hard, it's your own effort, but for the thing to be accomplished, it actually depends on heaven. That's a Chinese belief. That means we have to, that's your destiny, your fate. It depends on heaven. What's the meaning of heaven? It's like maybe, it's like the rule, the rule, your destiny. Your luck, maybe, is your luck, 命運啊. That means your destiny, your fate, So there's a lot of Chinese people believe in that. Maybe for Chinese elderly people, a lot, 我條命係咁㗎啦, My life is like this, I'm destined to be sad, I'm destined to be a failure. 我係咁㗎啦，我失敗㗎啦，我條命係咁㗎啦。Maybe some people are like that, they for Westerners, they are more proactive. 即係啲西方人咧，佢哋冇咁信命運嗰樣嘢。They don't believe. They think, well, I can work hard. Nothing is impossible, for Western people, right? But for Chinese people, they are more passive. They would be, because we are under the heaven, we are under the ruling of heaven. So the best way, well, for Chinese people, for Confucianism, the best way to be able to connect with heaven. Anybody do Chinese Kung Fu here? 有冇人學武術㗎？學過啊？ Anybody learn wushu before? Any sportman here that you learn? Yeah. You have learned, Chinese Kung Fu? Yes, you do. Both of you, right? Yeah. You like Bruce Lee, right? You like Bruce Lee? 有冇聽過人馬合一啊？ That means your body, your man, your body, your legs you are connected together. 人腰馬合一係嘛？周星馳都話。That means you can be in control of your body, right? And then 天人合一咧 if you are connected with the sky, with heaven, that means you can control your destiny. But it's so hard to be connected to heaven, right? Wouldn't it? You want to be connected with heaven and you can control your destiny. Anybody here, you think you can be connected to you can control your own destiny? 有冇人覺得你可以控制你嘅命，你條命嘅？ Okay, yes, I can control. Yes, I can. Good. Yes. More like a Westerner thinking, or we can be proactive, we can be controlling, we can be managing our lives, right? But sometimes Chinese people, they feel so inferior under the big control, the big heaven. 即係我哋喺個天下邊啊。Actually, we feel that we are so helpless. So helpless. Some maybe especially the older generations, they feel that 即係哇條即係我哋個命運真係好難控制啊。Some of the people could be like that. 天命難違啊，係咪啊？ The absolute authority of heaven, we cannot go against unless we are a good person. We can be connected with the heaven. So 孔子what he teaches us is 知命啊，we have to understand our lives. 佢話we have to learn 30而立，40而不惑，50知天命，60而耳順，70就從心所欲不逾矩。即係話 that means they hope that well when you are 30 You know what you're doing. You can stand by yourself, right? It says when you're 30, you can stand by yourself. When you're 40, you don't confuse anymore. When you're 50, you know your own destiny, right? When you're 60, you can, be more submissive and, maybe you can know the way of the heaven. And then in 70, you can be free from this bondage, that you can get, you can understand the rule of games, and you can, understand this, you know what I'm talking about? So actually, well, it's a lifelong journey of learning for Confucianism, for Chinese people. It's a lifelong. It's actually not easy. It's not easy. For Mengzi, he also believed we have to 立命. 立命 means we have to live the life fullest. We have to work hard. We have to, we have to try our heart very hard to live our life to the fullest. Okay, so this is Chinese people for you. We have to be like this. Okay, this is the belief, the subtle hidden belief. We as Chinese people, we never learn that. 我哋可能對呢啲中國哲學從來冇讀過㗎. But actually we kind of understand. Do we? Anybody get it? 即係有冇人明白？定有啲人唔明啊? Anybody not understand? Actually 係啊，啲中國人係咁嘅. Yeah, Chinese people are like that. Agree? Or disagree? Or you don't know? Or you're too busy with your other subjects? Right? Okay, I understand. We're all because you are in the system of 科舉啊，你哋喺科舉制度裏邊啊，所以好辛苦啊，大家明白。Okay, and then for Confucianism, there's another thing, two things. One is like the harmony between the different hierarchy. 點解咧？其實咧 ，okay, maybe nowadays you feel you feel very sad that nowadays, maybe the political situation in Hong Kong or the political situation, you feel that, wow, we feel that now as if we have less and less freedom as a young person in Hong Kong. Maybe you feel sad or you feel confused and you feel very, don't know what you're doing. Maybe nobody dare to say anything or nobody dare to comment, politically. Anybody have strong political view here? Hands up. I won't capture your photo. Don't worry. Anybody have political beliefs? 有冇邊啲人都有啲對政治有啲諗法嘅? Anybody? Or you don't dare to put up your hand? Well, just think about it. Okay. 我唔會秋後算賬啊，我唔會告發你啊. Don't worry 啊. But yeah. But then what I'm saying is like for Chinese people, they have very I mean for Confucianism, they pay a very great emphasis on between human relationships and hierarchy, the structure, the structure between human beings. So it says a very famous saying, 修身齊家治國平天下, right? You have heard that before. So that means for Chinese people, they believe for Confucianism, they believe that, okay, you have to be doing the self-cultivation. Like I said in the previous slide, you have to learn to be a good man. And then you can have a family. And then you can rule the country. If you have good result, in the 科舉, then you can become a ruling person, in the country. And then you can make peace with the world. This is what Kongzi's belief. That means we have to be doing step by step like that, right? Okay. Any comments for all these beliefs for here? 有冇意見啊？對呢個定係覺得唉把鬼啊真係 ？Any? Wow, 好靜喎今日真係。Today is very quiet. Or as a Chinese person, you think listen to all this 百般滋味在心頭係嘛？ I don't know. Any comments? Any comments? Or maybe later, save it for later, okay? Later we shall be having the narrative conversation again. You can talk with your partner as last time to discuss, what you heard today. 哇嗰啲腎啊嗰啲唔啊同屋企人相處啊 maybe you whenever you deal with your parents or your teacher or your other friends, and you can talk about that later. Okay, yeah. And then another thing is they really treasure these 5 forms, these different forms of human relationship. 君臣父子啊，五倫啊，係咯。I didn't write everything here, but 君臣父子子。Actually, the direct translation is this king, minister, father, son, 係咪咁譯啊？What does it mean? Anybody can tell me what does it mean? 君臣父子子點解啊？What's the meaning of that? Anybody know? 有冇人學過啊？Actually, we are lucky that, I don't know, in your secondary school, when you study Chinese subject, did you study this stuff? Did you study 孔子 stuff? 四書五經, did you study? Some of you, did you study? No. Maybe the curriculum is changing. My son for DSE, he need to study now. They're putting back the 四書五經 into the curriculum nowadays for secondary school. So maybe you guys are lucky, you guys escaped already. Maybe the curriculum at your time was different because the curriculum have been always changing recently. So nowadays my son is studying this. So nobody know? 君臣臣父父子子, what does it mean? Anybody know? 有冇人識答 Anybody? 有冇啫？Huh? Anybody? Study before? 冇啊，真係冇啊。Okay. Then I share with you. That means the first word was the noun. 第一個字係名詞嚟嘅。And the second was a verb. 第二個係動詞嚟嘅。That means if you are a king, you have to act like a king. 君。If you are a minister, 你係一個臣啊，臣子啊。You have to act like a minister. If you are a father, you should act like a good father. Okay, you should be a good father. You should fathering as a father. You should be fathering as a father. If you are a son, you should be doing the job of a son. You should be son as a son. Son is like a verb, being a son. Okay? Wow, it's very heavy shoulder, heavy burden. Well, anybody could say, are you a good son? Are you a good daughter? Are you? 係咪一個好嘅仔女啊？你覺得自己 Are you a good student? Are you a good daughter? Are you a good sister? Are you a good brother? Are you a good boyfriend? Valentine's Day yesterday? So that means for Chinese people, we have to be, wow, that's a very big responsibility. Why am I sharing all this? Because the elderly we're going to visit, they probably also have this kind of burden, same burden on their shoulder. It makes people very depressed sometimes. Like this morning, I was doing a case, actually. I was seeing this auntie. She was somebody I saw in the church. She was sad because she always say, I'm not a good daughter. So sad. I'm not good enough, as a daughter. I'm not good enough as a mother. I'm not good enough as a a wife, like that. So she was depressed. So when we're talking with people like that, we have to be sensitive, all these cultural beliefs and values behind them. So this is why some people are depressed, because they say, I'm not a good student. A good student should be getting 5 A's. I only get 4 A's and a B. I'm not a good student. Are you like that? I only get 98%. I'm not a good student. Where is the 2% that I missed? Some students are like that, right? So this a lot is what's the meaning of good? What's the meaning? So Chinese people give a lot of pressure to ourselves. So I'd like you guys to learn. We learn together what's the burden on our shoulder, to understand our own culture, to understand our own difficulties and the difficulties of the people that we face with together. Actually, we are in the same, we have the same fate as Chinese people. 我哋都有同一個命運啊，同一個文化 right? Yeah, and then also we as a Chinese person, we were expected to be loyal, 忠孝仁義啊，係嘛？ We have to we expect to be loyal to our teacher, to be loyal to our family, all these things. We have to expect to be obedient to authority. You have to obey the government. We have to obey our father and mother. We have to obey our teacher. So now I'm speaking as a teacher, nobody dare to say anything, right? Because the teacher is talking, I better not say anything. This is Chinese culture. But if you teach a class in the Western classroom, everybody's so noisy, everybody have their own view. So Chinese people, very different, very submissive. This is us. Imagine we are oppressed, we suppress our feelings. Okay? Yes. Okay. And then, this concept about 孝順, wow, it's also a very big topic. You can see the word 孝, the old word of 孝, that means it's actually the son carrying the elderly person on the shoulder. It's very heavy. Right? That means in Chinese thinking, we everybody should be a 孝子, huh? Everybody should be a good son, respect and love your family. My father-in-law always have to tell us 慎終追遠啊, you have to pay your respect to your ancestors. 要去掃墓啊, whatever, you have to pay your respect to your senior member in the society, in the family and your ancestors, right? Anybody 有冇人要去掃墓㗎? Yeah, April is coming. Anybody need to do that every year? 有冇人每年都要去掃墓㗎? 冇唔使㗎，你哋真係好啦. You guys are lucky. You don't have to go climb the mountains, 登高啊, and then go to the graveyard of your grandpa, grandma, and then you buy the flower, and then maybe for Chinese people, you have to buy the food and put in front of the grave. 有冇人要做呢樣嘢㗎? 有冇人要掃墓㗎? Nobody? Some of you? No? Yeah, you do, right? You do. Maybe you just didn't say it. Yeah. Some of you need to do that, right? To pay respect. It's your duty. It's a duty. Chinese people really care about duty, right? In your secondary school, primary school, 有冇值日生㗎? 有冇㗎? 有㗎嘛? In your classroom, you are on duty, right? You clean the blackboard. You pick the rubbish. Everybody have to be on duty. Everybody need to contribute, right? So you respect you, and then I don't know whether you know this. This is respect. We have to respect the elderly people in this line. Respect, huh? Actually, it's a lot of different dimension. You see this one, this one, huh? There's a lot of different dimension in respect. I don't know. Well, for me, I'm your last generation. For me, I really pay a lot of attention on these kind of things. Well, for example, if you have dinner with some people older than you, or if you have dinner with your 老師, your teacher, usually you will let the people older than you to sit down first. Do you do that? 係咪要咁啊？老師你坐先啦，老闆啊。Maybe now you don't really pay so much attention, but when you go to work, when you get your job, your senior 老闆your supervisor, you better let them sit before you do. Well, Hong Kong is actually not so traditional. Maybe in Korea, in Japan, it's very serious. This kind of 即係前輩啊、後輩啊 先輩 like that, like the Korean, you have to use the language, 用敬語啊 that you watch a lot of Korean, movie, right? That you have to use the respect kind of language for people who are older than you. If you don't do that, you are considered to be rude. One of my cousin, he's working in Japan. He said to me, I said,你有冇講粗口㗎 in Japan? Do you use foul language in Japan? I asked him. Everybody want to learn foul language for a foreign language, right? But then my cousin was telling me,唔使㗎, no need foul language in Japan. I said, why? It's only that word, baka or whatever, only those words, okay? And then he said, no need foul language, and no need to learn foul language. I said, why? Because he said, once you don't use the polite word, 如果你唔用敬語咧，已經係好粗㗎啦。If you do not use the respectable language, that means it's foul language already. So that means for Eastern culture, it's very important to pay your respect to your, senior member of well, when you get to work, you will know. When you get your job. And if somebody in the company 1 year earlier than you, he's your senior already, right? That, when they做靚㗎, you go to a restaurant and then even, I don't know, have you heard of that song in Japan? Or you say what? You say what? What's that called? What's that song, right? You say what? That song. They were saying, yeah, you heard that, right? That was about complaining about, as a young person, complaining about, when they go to work, they have to pour wine for their boss. They have to be listening to their parents. They really complain, as a Japanese young person, they have to, so many things, they have to follow the rules. It's very difficult for them, Yeah, so it's Eastern culture for you. Okay? So, yeah, and then we have to also, as a younger person, as a child, I don't know whether your parents will say that. Ay,你咁大啊, huh? I raised you up, I pay for your education, huh? Your parents say that, something like that? 有冇人咁樣？有冇啲父母咁樣講㗎？ Well, I don't know whether today is so quiet. Is it nobody dare to say anything, or you just 喺心入邊淌淚啊，定係咩啊？ Or you just crying inside? I don't know. That your parents, Chinese parents always like this. Subtly. I mean, in their heart, they will hope that their children will pay back the respect, or will pay back the money, or will take care of them in return. 養兒防老啊，有冇聽過啊？有嗬， yeah, you want to give birth to a child. Why? Because you want the child to take care of you when you get older. So this is 一個報應啊，唔係報應啊，係一個報，即係報，要報返個報親恩要報啊，like when somebody do you good, you have to be good in return. I don't know whether like Chinese New Year has passed only last month. Like you will give the gifts to the elderly, right? You will give 即係嗰啲長輩，你會買盒糖啊， or you will buy some biscuit or give some fruit when you go to elderly people's house. 爺爺嫲嫲，你買個橙啊 right? You would buy them some fruit, and then they will give you back the 利是, and then they will 又摘翻一封利是俾你 right? They will give you back a gift for you, right? 利是有冇人試過啊？俾一個禮佢，佢又要摘翻封利是俾你。You know that, right? Somebody nod your head. That means it's like in return, you have to return the favors. These Chinese people. You do good thing to them, and they do good thing back to you. This is Chinese people. 係禮尚往來啊，即係 mutual relationship， 有來有往啊，係咪啊？來來往往啊。These Chinese people, okay, relationship, yeah. So that means we have to seek a lot of approval, elderly people, we have to seek the approval of our family. And in the heart of the parents, they really hope that their children will pay them back, also in respect, or in terms of money, or in terms of a lot of different things, that say maybe there's a lot of pressure for us. 有冇 subtly feel that way? 第時 when you work, do you give some 利是 to your mommy, daddy? When you do summer job, 有冇俾翻少少錢媽咪爸爸like that? Or you don't want to think about that? Or maybe you're coming to get a job, how much 嗰啲叫咩啊？家用啊，how much 家用 how much the expense of the family you're gonna give them back? They probably have some expectation, Well, a lot of you just keep so quiet. 好大壓力啊，係咪啊？係嘛？ How do you feel? Can I have some response? 有冇人可以講少少 until now? You give me any of the feeling? 有冇人講少少啊？ 聽到我講咗呢啲 so much I share already. Any of you give some response? You think what I'm saying is true, or what I'm saying is 唔係咁嘅？譬如香港而家邊有啊咁老土啊 ？What you're saying is so old-fashioned. It's not like that anymore. You know, Hong Kong, no, it's not like that. You cannot. Okay, from 0 to 10, how much in your world you feel is like what I'm saying? From 0 to 10. Maybe you show me your finger. Only show me your finger. Or 8 is right. Wow. 3, you only feel 3. Okay. 6, 7, 5, 2, 5, 6. Okay, 50-50. Yeah, 50-50. Some. Very good. Thank you for your response. That's great. That's great. Yeah, so 50-50. Maybe half for your generation is half. Very good. But for the elderly we're going to visit, for them, maybe it's still very strong. This kind of beliefs, still very strong. Maybe for you it's 5. For them it's maybe 8. For you it's 7. Maybe for them it's 9. You know, like that. So later we have to prepare ourselves for this kind of culture. Okay. So thank you very much. Very good. Yeah, you have responded me. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, very good. Okay. And then what about death? What's the belief for Confucianism about death? 孔子 said that 未知生焉知死 That means you don't know, if you do not know about life, how do you know about death? 孔子 said that. That means actually Confucianism, they really focus on life. They don't really care about death. For Chinese people, they don't really focus on afterlife. Actually, for Confucianism. Also,孔子was a teacher. He didn't want himself to be 好似神化咁咧 to be deified. He don't want himself to be 神化. He say he focus on the things on earth. He focus on the things in life. He focus on the relationship. He focus on the kingdom and all these things on earth. He don't really focus on afterlife and all these kind of things.孔子do not really focus on that. That means we only focus, we have to live our life well. This is what孔子believe, huh? And if you know about life, then you will know about death. And then about 是生與是死, that means for Chinese, for Confucianism, you have to respect your dead parents. You have to take care of your dead parents or dead ancestors, dead grandma and grandfather, as well as if they are still alive. That means for the funerals, for all these, like I said, 掃墓 and all these kind of things, it's very important for Chinese people. You know, that means they have to take care of 嗰啲山墳山地you know, the cemetery and all this stuff. They take care a lot. Okay. And then also, but then, you know, for Confucianism, they say 殺身成仁捨身取義 That means, okay, if you should insist to do good, that means 殺身成仁，即係就算我自殺，我都要做好人嘅。就算我死even I die, I sacrifice my life, I have to do good. This is what Confucians believe is right. The saying, 即係要去做到死都要做啱嘅 for Chinese people, you know, okay? So that means for Chinese people, we have to live a very good life, okay? Okay, so about Buddhism. So I was saying that we will be talking about Confucianism, 即係儒家、佛家同埋道家, right? So it's actually interesting that Chinese people are influenced by three different main philosophy. Oh, this microphone is not so good. It's a bit stuck. 好似冇第二隻咪入喎，唔知去咗邊。上次係咪擺咗喺嗰個黏埋咗？ Oh, yeah. Because this one is a bit, thank you. Hello. Yeah, better. This microphone a bit always on and off. Yeah. Okay. So I was saying that it's interesting that there are three different philosophy for Chinese people. Well, but actually Buddhism is very different from Confucianism. But then we are also Taoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism also very different, but also have similarity. At the end, I will be explaining. So maybe you can feel that 即係佛家啦，就係 so actually this guy was not Chinese, he was Indian 釋迦牟尼 he was a prince, and he was born around the same time as 孔夫子 okay, and then he was a Hindu 即係本身係印度教嘅。And then he was born in a ruling family. He was a prince, and then he was born in a rich family, and he was having all this luxury in his life, 好有錢嘅嚇。And then he went out one time or a few times. You saw this picture, this diagram, and he saw in the street, and he saw somebody die, getting old. He saw somebody getting sick. You see, 係生老病死嚇。He saw these people in the street. But actually, so he didn't understand. As a prince, when he was young, he was never taught that. So he was thinking, then eventually he left the palace. He didn't want to be a prince anymore. And he wanted to go out and study about the real truth of life. Then he dumped his wife, 拋棄咗自己個兒子and his son and his wife, and he went out to to be enlightened，即係喺度即係希望可以覺悟頓悟He wanted to be studying. So and then finally, eventually, actually there was he spent long time to think through the meaning of life. 佢揾咗好多時間去諗通去學習。But then one day, he suddenly under this tree, and he suddenly was enlightened. 突然間諗通咗即係頓悟咗即係覺醒咗Yeah. So for Buddhism, it's they focus on how to have awareness, how to be enlightened. So then after that, after he was enlightened, 佢覺醒咗之後咧， he traveled around in the country to spread his beliefs. So it became Buddhism. Okay, yeah. So what was Buddhism is about? It's about this 四個真理Four Noble Truths. It was about the first one was about actually life was actually full of suffering. He noticed that like from his experience, he noticed that just in all these events in life is a lot of suffering. Do you agree with that? Think about that. Yeah, a lot of suffering. Nowadays, a lot of suffering in the world, war, earthquake, and maybe, a lot of suffering. But he noticed that the second truth, what he noticed, 佢發現咗 actually suffering, what was the reason for suffering? 點解有苦難呢? He believed that it was because of people's desires. 佢覺得係有人嘅慾望咧，就令到有人咧就會學你人咧就會 suffer 啦。Do you agree with that? Suffering because of a desire? Like for example, if you have this desire to want to eat good food, but you are too poor to eat good food, fine dining, for example, yesterday was Valentine's Day. Again, I talk about that. Maybe your girlfriend want to have 5-star hotel dinner, or you want to have 5-star hotel dinner, but you have no money, right? You have this desire to have fine dining, but you have no money. Then you suffer. Then you fight. Maybe you very sad. You cannot afford that, So originally, the suffering was originated from your desire. This is what he's believed, okay? So thirdly, 滅體 how to overcome this problem? Well, if you do not desire, then you can break free from all these desires. Then you can break free from suffering. If you're not greedy, if you don't, 咩勁浪漫咩超溫馨嗰首歌like if you want to just eat something simple, if you're just being happy with simple things, you eliminate all your desires, then you can escape from all this suffering, right? Okay, this is the third truth. The end of suffering is to end your desire. And then fourthly, 道體啊, that means if you have the right way, the right action, the right thinking, the right view, the right intention, like it is 八正道, that means it's this 8 right thing you do, the right thinking, the right intention, you say the right thing and do the right action, and you think of the right ideas, then you can become not ignorant anymore. Then you will become, having the good way, good life, good behavior. Then you can, escape the end to end this suffering. Anybody agree with this? 4 noble truth? Yes. Anybody agree? 都覺得都好似聽落都幾啱喎，係咪啊？OK，又玩下頭先啦，要 play that game again. Any 1 to 10, anybody think is, from 1 point to 10 point? You think 10 point, right? Anyway, you show your thing to how much degree you think this is true? 0 to 10? 10. Okay, some of you say, anybody? 2, 3? Kind of right. 4, 3, 4, 8? Yeah. 0. You don't agree? What's that? 0. You don't agree with? Sorry? 7. Okay, 7. You think is quite right. Okay. Anybody else? You show your fingers. Okay. 10. You agree? You agree? Okay. Yeah. A lot of people agree with Buddhism. Yeah. Anybody else? Show your finger. 0 to 10. Okay. Yeah. Some of you agree. Well, most of you quite agree. Yeah, to eliminate. So you desire less. Then you, okay. In the chat room also somebody said show 3 to 4. Okay, thank you. Somebody also agree. Somebody also half. Okay. It's quite interesting. Yeah. And then what Buddhism believe is also another thing is karma. 因緣啊. They believe there's some, there's a cause and effect. They don't believe there's God. They don't believe there is an actual God, but they believe there's like it's something like a fate also. It's 因緣. That means it's like a way of a series of cause and effect. 即係一個輪迴，一個因緣，一個 vicious cycles。點解你 for example why you born and you die and you love? I'm not going to go into detail about that 12 karma, the universal law of karma. I'm not going to go into detail because it's very complicated. But basically, Buddhism, they believe in the cause and effect, 因緣，即係有因果。Okay, and then this life cycle is not continue non-stop cycle of this kind of thing. You see this have a translation also, desire and feeling, and then you understand the Tao, and then you become, then you die, and then it's like a big, cycle. Okay, so it depends on the cycle. Okay, and then maybe we watch a video. This nun lady, I show you this video.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I would like to share with everyone what is 6 wrong of sentient being. As obvious you can see, I'm in human wrong. I'm a human. And definitely, most of the people we can see is in human wrong. And in Buddhist philosophy, according to Buddha told us, there is a 6 wrong of sentient being. From the highest realm in heaven, they do not need to seeking for the food or making money like a human, because their merits, because their past life of generosity, they are able to rebirth in the heaven realm. Whatever they want, as long as they can think of, then something will appear in front of them. The second highest realm, sentient being, is astral realm. In their past life, they love to helping others and also practice certain level of generosity, but they always have a jealousy when they doing their good deed. So that's why they bring birth in higher realm, but their state of mind hardly can be happy. because they always jealous each other and fighting and argue each other. And the third realm is the human realm, where we are right now. When we were born, pretty much everything is mutual. Nothing extremely bad or nothing extremely good. But because of family education, school education, society behavior influence power, our own selves driven change our behavior after our birth from our mother. So these all the components can lead human to seeking for self-liberation path like a Buddha to attain Buddhahood. This driven power can also lead people to commit a crime and put themselves in a jail. So this all because of our own body, speech, and mind behavior. So that's why Buddha told us the most important engine for our life is not seeking outside, is reviewing our mind, our true inner side of wisdom. To them, our true wisdom awakened by some great masters, leading us to do some proper deed. So that is human. You can be extremely good or you can be extremely bad. So on the lower three realm, after the human realm, actually is animal realm. And obviously, I do not need to explain to everyone. Animal realm, they have so many different of the species. In the ocean, there's a million of the species. It have different type of animal realms of species. They also have the cause of feeling, cause of suffering, and also have a happy feeling. That is animal realm. Lower than animal realm have a hungry ghost. Hungry ghost realm of being, because their previous life, they do not practice their generosity. They always seeking for their own joy, and they even will hurt others or to steal someone's money to make their life happy. So we say the cause of rebirth in the hungry ghost is lack of generosity, not able to share anything with anyone. And the lowest realm in the sixth realm is in hell realm. Definitely is something commit really bad deed, like killing people and commit some severe illegal behavior. And the Buddha continue explain to all of us. In this sixth realm of sentient being, from top from the heaven realm, lowest to the hell realm, all of the sixth realm of sentient being has suffering, and they have different level of suffering. Have a lowest realms of suffering, different than the highest realm of suffering. And we are in human realm, so those suffering could still be the level we tolerance. So this is sixth realm of sentient being. We say is samsara, sixth realm in samsara. So we always rebirth in this sixth realm until we are able seeking for self-liberation path. I hope you enjoy my sharing of today and wish in the future you will join me again. Thank you.
Okay, so this lady really explained very clearly. I think it's a very good video. So it says that there's a 6 different, right? So that means we are in the human world, and then what she's saying is for Buddhism, well, he believes that there's like a reincarnation, 即係輪迴啊。Like in this wheel of different level, you could be Buddha yourself, eventually if you can be, practice all this good thing, you also can be good. And, she explained very well that you don't want to be, dropping into the hell, or like if you are doing bad things in one life, then you will become suffering, and the next life, you could even become animal, or you became a hungry ghost and you can go suffer in hell. And then, but eventually, if you are doing good, then you get, level up, like that. So it's like very kind of makes sense, in human kind of understanding, I think. And then, but then, actually Buddha, like Confucius, like Hongzi, the same. They were not intended to say that Buddha never thought that he was God. He never said that he was God, that intend to be worshipped. Actually, in the philosophy, they are all teachers. Like for Kongzi, for Laozi, or for Buddha, they didn't intend they were God. They were teachers. They hope to tell you some truth that they got to understand. 即係佢哋自己去嘅修為，佢哋明白咗一啲關於生死嘅道理啊。They understand the meaning of life, and they share with you. So I think it's to a certain extent, they also have their own understanding about life. It's kind of also makes sense, in kind of, human understanding. And then, but then they believe in, reincarnation. And then we can, eventually, hopefully, the person, they can become a good, and then also become, they can go to heaven, eventually. So this is what they believe. Okay. And then, so yeah, ultimately they hope to be able to go to Nirvana, Lipuna. So this place is like heaven, and there's no more suffering. And as long as you can conquer your desire, you could go against these bad ideas and bad deeds. You can appreciate, the beauty of nature. You can do everything right. You can do everything good. You can, self, indulge, between, no, it's not practicing some good ways and middle path and the right way. Then you can get rid of your false self with desire, and you become good and real. This is what they believe. Okay. And then, okay, what's the meaning? What's the understanding of death, for Buddhism? The Buddhist monk, they in the Buddhist funeral, they would recite some scriptures. They hope that they hope that the dead can be escaped from this kind of reincarnation of suffering, and the dead person can be going to peace. And then they believe that, the person, hopefully the person can be reincarnate again, become human, or become better beings. You can go to heaven, or become, Saulo, and instead of being ghost. This is what they hope their family and the dead person, not drop to hell like that. So that they hope that people can break away from the suffering, from breaking away from their desires. So this one belief that may be worth mentioning is that's why the elderly people in the funerals, they do not really like Buddhists. They do not really like people to cry too much in the funerals, because they were saying that they would let the deceased person not wanting to leave this world. Maybe 太多牽掛, maybe the person who died already and not wanting to get away from all these desires and get away from this life. So that's why the Chinese people, Buddhists, they usually try not to cry in the funeral. And they try to, be very calm, and try to, so that that person can be away and escape from their earthly life, and they can become, reincarnate again to a better life. This is what they believe. Okay, so actually there's no actual death if in that sense, they hope the person to be reincarnate again， 即係不斷咁樣輪迴嚇，去一個更加好嘅地方。They hope the person can go to a better place after the reincarnation, or eventually can go to heaven. So this is what they believe, okay, for Buddhists, okay? Okay, last but not least, so we will be talking about Taoism， 即係最尾就會講道家啦。their canon 即係佢哋嗰個本書啦，係 is called 道德經，道德經。Okay, they have many books, but I'm not going to talk about details. So actually, Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism is also have similarity and differences. But for Taoism, it's more like different from Confucianism. Is Taoism is more cool. 好似嗰啲嬉皮士咁噶 ，it's more chill 嚇。You know, they believe in naturalism， 即係好天然嘅、好自然嘅。They believe in the Tao， 即係佢哋覺得得道個道咧，就係 is the ultimate, the very good thing， 即係最好嘅，最喺個 is the wisdom, the best wisdom in the universe， 喺個宇宙間一個運行嘅道理啊。It's something we cannot understand, but it's ever changing and formless. Like for example, in Tao Te Ching, it says 道可道，非常道，名可名，非常名。That means for Tao, we cannot be understood. It cannot be understood. It cannot be told. 即係你係唔明白佢嘅，你係唔知道嘅。It's something very mysterious, but it's the constant truth, the ultimate universal truth. It's something like Taoists, they believe in qi， 即係佢哋信啲 energy 啊 qi, right? In nowadays 呢個好多新紀元運動咧 the new age, in the new age, a lot of people really into Taoism. They believe in this kind of energy, 氣功啊 there's a lot of energy in the universe. So actually they believe that human is actually part of the universe, part of the natural system, and then actually human being is a small part of the big universe. 即係成個 macro 嘅 system, the big macro universe, human being and the nature and the world, the system is only a very small part, micro part of the whole universe. 咁同埋咧and then also the Taoists, they really believe in simple living. 佢哋覺得係要崇尚自然啦，harmony and 唔好爭競啦 ，non-competitive, simple non-action， 即係無為而治啊，無為嚇。They think that doing nothing is the best thing to do. Okay, so this kind of belief is very true for Chinese people also. Like for example, even for Chinese people, if they get sick, of course, they try to be natural and they take a lot of good food, but they try not to do something radical. Chinese people, they do not really like unnatural things. Like, for example, you ask them to take a lot of medicine or to do a lot of things. Usually, Chinese believe that 即係順其自然啦 go with the flow 啊自然就會好噶啦 like you leave it, take it easy, and it will become better. Usually, a lot of Chinese people believe in that. Yeah. So that's why, for example, if people have a problem, family problem or financial problem, a lot of Chinese people, they will try not to do too much. 即係比較係被動嘅，Chinese people because they believe in non-action， 即係最好就係無為而治啦，唔好做咁多嘢，自然就會好噶啦，naturally it will become better. That's why I know a lot of people have mental health issues also. They're very reluctant to see doctor. A lot of people do not like to seek for medical help because they thought, 由得佢自然自己好啦，唔好睇醫生啦。Even for cancer patients, a lot of patients, they are like that, So maybe we can, have this understanding, keep in mind whenever we talk to the elderly people. Maybe sometimes the newer generation will thought, 有啲乜嘢我哋去解決問題啦。The Western thinking will be like problem solving. Will be thinking we do something to solve the problem. Right? But for Taoist thinking, for Chinese thinking, 通常都係唔好搞咁多嘢。Maybe you've heard this one. Don't do too much. Don't do too much is the best. Okay, so that's why. Okay, okay, and then another thing is Dao Dao is the ultimate truth, and that means it's also a good behavior to achieve Dao. Okay, that means you also is similar with Confucianism. You also have to do a lot of the good things，係嗰啲德，即係你要得道咧，都係要做一啲德性啊，you have to do good things to be able to achieve Dao. That means, okay, for example, the Chinese people, like the Taoists, they believe in 即係養生啦。Chinese people, they are older people, they think eating good food, sleeping the right time. It's actually the Chinese medicine thinking. It's Taoist. The Chinese medicine is very similar. 係由易經啊，from the Book of Change, and all this is the basic of the Chinese traditional medicine. So they believe that if you maybe you practice qigong, tai chi, things like that, then you can prolong your life. You can live better life, and if you eat good food, you live simple. You free from your desire, and you become like water. You become like very natural, keep with the flow, and do nothing. 無為嚇 and you be kind. 即係佢哋有they have 3 good beliefs, 3 treasures. 要慈儉同埋讓。That means you have to give way. You have to be with having harmony with other people. You have to do don't be so luxury, no luxurious life, and you become kind and passionate to other people. And this kind of ideal way of life maintain the peace in mind for Taoism. That means you're selfless, non-competitive. 即係唔好好極端嚇 don't be extreme. 即係咩都中中等等，好似for actually for Confucianism, they also have 中庸嚇，中庸之道啊。Everything is moderate. Even so, that's why even the emotions of Chinese people, they try not to be too 激啊。They don't want to be too extreme. If you're sad, try not to be too sad. If you're angry, try not to be too angry. If the Chinese people do not like things to be too extreme. But for Western people, they like to show their feelings more. They like to promote their own beliefs. 佢哋會覺得自己嘅想法會講出嚟啊，即係西方嘅文化就係咁。But for Chinese people, they try to suppress their feelings. They try not to show their feelings, not to be very, very angry or, can you imagine if you have some colleagues, 有啲同事啊或者同學啊，突然間喺個組嗰度啊，好嬲啊，或者 maybe, some group mate in your group too angry or too anxious, something, then they usually will be condemned. 通常就俾人哋排斥㗎啦，即係唔好咁激啦你嚇 don't be so extreme, don't be too angry, like that. So for Chinese people, this is their belief, okay? Taoist lifestyle. And then also they believe in yin yang. This is easy to understand, 陰陽嚇 This kind of logic is actually very natural kind of thinking. Actually, in everything, they believe there's yin and yang in everything. Like, for example, the sky is yang, the ground is yin. Okay, 即係天係陽嘅。And then woman is yin, man is yang. Okay, there's a lot of things that have yin yang in everything. So that means, like, for hot is yin, for hot is yang, sorry. Cold is for hot is yang, for cold is yin, okay? So that means for summer is yang and for winter is yin, okay? So for Chinese medicine or for Chinese thinking, everything, there is a balance. What is yin yang means is in balance. You can see that 陰中有陽，陽中有陰嚇。You see this sign that means in the yin, there's yang. In the yang, there's yin. And when you go to extreme yang, and it will 物極必反, it will become extreme yang, it will become yin again. And when extreme yin will become yang again. Okay? So everything is in a cycle, non-stop, everlasting cycle. It's a natural phenomenon of human being and the nature. It's a law of changes. So after I've learned that, it becomes, sometimes, maybe for Western thinking, we will be thinking, maybe we should do this, do something, we have to make it better. But for Chinese people, they thought, 唉，唔緊要啦，自自然然就會搞返掂㗎啦。Like naturally, it will become settled. Again, like for example, like if you have a glass of dirty water, 如果你有一杯污糟嘅水嚇， you put it there, after a while, it will be settled down and all the dirty things will go down to the bottom. But if you keep stirring it, all the water is dirty, right? 即係嗰啲濁水係咪？ But if you leave it, the dirty things will settle down in the bottom, and the water, the clear, you can see the clear water again. So this is what Chinese people believe. Okay, this Taoism they believe. 即係唔好搞咁多嘢啦，總之就 okay. So understand that submissive, more submissive. Okay, and then for life and death. Actually, Zhuangzi, Zhuangzi, also like Lao Tzu, another teacher of Taoism, when his wife died, 莊子妻死鼓盤而歌. When his wife died, he sing and dance and hit the drum. Actually he loved his wife a lot, but then he thought that actually everybody have their destiny. Life and death is destinated. 即係應該要接受啊 we should accept. So he advocated this people's fate we cannot change. It's a matter of life. So we should just accept it to be peaceful, But then we have accept, we have 要安身立命啊，安身立命，安命啊。That means we have to be accepting, having peace with our life. And then 列子啊 another one, 佢又叫宿命論啊。He also accept it's like this fatalistic, destination. That means everybody have our own destiny. 有我哋嘅宿命. That means we cannot change it. So we have to 命安而樂. That means we have to be happy as where we stand. As Chinese people, they are very happy with what they have. So you will notice that after you see these elderly people, you will understand more. The more you live, these Chinese people, actually, they are quite joyful sometimes. Even some of them are Christian, or some of them are not Christians. Some of them are Buddhist, or some of them different religion. Chinese people, they would accept their lives, and they become quite, peaceful and happy with their life. 即係人老咗啊，就會化啦，係嘛？ So they will become very acceptant to their reality. This is Chinese people like that for you, okay? Yeah. Okay, but then, this is the Taoist philosophy. But Taoist religion is a bit different. 即係道教同道家咧有少少唔同喎。This is Taoism. You know what I'm telling you? 道家同埋佛家、儒家。Those are the philosophy. But then the practice, the 道教, the religious practice, sometimes is also very different. Like, for example, like the Taoist funeral, they would have all these rituals and, for death, they have all these rituals and performance. 嗰啲道士啊, they would try to 破地獄啊, they would try to not want their family members to go to hell. So they do a lot of rituals and do a lot of things. They hope that they can liberate the soul of their family members. Okay, it's very complicated, but I try to make it simple for you to understand. Okay, so the integration of the three philosophy. So actually, there are similarity in these three philosophies. For Chinese people, they hope to be a good person, to be a saint, 最希望想做聖人啦。To be a righteous person, and then they have to, have the liar, they have to lead, they have to do the right thing, they want to have the nice manner. It's a shame-based culture. That means we hope not to shame other people. We hope to do the right thing, not to be shameful, not to be expressing ourselves too much, avoid the critics for the elderly. So whenever you communicate with the elderly people, maybe we have to be careful to listen more, to accept the way they are more, and ask more open-ended questions. Again, remind us to ask more questions, because for Chinese people, they really treasure harmony, and, the hierarchy, respect, and then also whether you have a relationship with them, they really treasure. If you build up a relationship with the person, they will treat you like 自己人 insider. So it's very important in your 2 visit, you're going to visit them 2 times, right? So it's nice that maybe you will notice that maybe the second time it will be easier for you to talk to them the second time, because for Chinese people, they really treasure relationship. 即係一次生兩次熟嘛，三次打雀局嘛，係咪？有冇聽過啊？You've heard that. One time is first time you are a stranger, but the second time you're already a friend, right? For Hong Kong people, it's like that. Hong Kong people is very slow to be friendly, but once they are friendly with you, they are good to you. 我唔知道你哋即係認唔認識香港人啦。好似 some people say that Hong Kong people are very cool. 香港人好冷酷㗎係嘛？But if they got to know you, they can be very helpful to you. Hong Kong people, 係咪咁㗎？No, actually no. They're not so friendly. But what I'm saying is we take time to build the relationship. It's not the first time 一埋牙. Some of the maybe the Westerners, the first time they already very outspoken. The first time they already will tell you everything about their family. Maybe for Western people, yes, maybe. For Hong Kong people, maybe younger generations, better. But for older generations, maybe for Chinese people, they need time to build the relationship. They need to trust you. Okay. So you have to, spend some time, and also Chinese people, like I said, we will try to conclude that Chinese people, they hope to be positive. They hope to be hardworking. They hope to be always achieving, want to be good, like I said, to become a good person in their life. They think, they try to be good, they do good, they really restrict themselves, they constrict themselves to become good person. So sometimes they get very frustrated and they very negative. Sometimes it's very difficult. But then, but at the same time, it's very 好矛盾㗎。At the same time, they hope to do good, but at the same time, they try not to do too much. 即係又要想好好，又想唔好做咁多。It's like very hard to strike a balance for Chinese people. They hope to strike a balance in between these 3 philosophies. We hope to strike a balance, but actually 係都幾精神分裂嘅其實嚇。In these three philosophy, like the Confucian, 即係道家咧就希望係要進步嘅。The Confucians, they hope for advancement. The Taoism 咧係退嘅，希望去回歸大自然啊，退隱啲嘅。咁for Buddhism, they hope to not desire too much. They hope to conceal themselves. They hope to hide themselves also. So it's very 即係 contradictory， 其實都有啲矛盾嘅咁多嘅哲學，係咪 ？And also they respect the authority， 即係佢哋可能對政府啊，對嗰啲權威啊，佢哋好尊重嘅。So better be careful, right? Okay, so whenever we might not agree with each other, maybe we have different political view. Be careful. Maybe we have different preferences in different in the things we talk about. So try not to have conflicts with the elderly, but we try to listen and ask more questions. And then because they are very more submissive, they are very relationship oriented and 中庸like I said. And they don't want to be extreme. They don't want to show their everything. They are 可能都好客氣嘅。你見到啲長者 they are very polite. 好，哎呀，唔好意思啊，唔該啊 ，OK. Everything they so outside, they would be very polite and they try to be gentle, like that. So, but then actually, but also be careful whenever we try to ask them question. Try to listen to the things they say. But also try to listen to the things they have not said. 即係佢哋有啲嘢講你要聽，但係佢有啲嘢冇講到嘅咧，你都要注意㗎。有啲可能係隱藏咗㗎。Something is hidden。你啲即係有啲寓意或者有啲隱晦啊、隱喻啊，係嘛？有啲隱晦啊嚇 ，something like that. So we have to be careful to ask more questions, more follow-up questions. Okay, and then also they might tell you a lot of the complaints about their body, maybe the physical problem, the somatic problem. So in Chinese people, they would see things in a holistic way, 喺個整體嚟睇嘅。 And then in terms of the sickness, is because they have lost their balance. This is what they say in what they believe in the Chinese philosophy. Okay? Any questions from here? 有冇問題? Okay. So, and then also, another thing I like to point out is about gender issue. 即係男女嘅問題啊。Well, for men, Chinese men, it's a lot of pressure. 頭先我講咗好多啦，即係話要 Taoist 啊，you have to be a saint，要做聖人啦。So for Chinese men, it's a lot of pressure also because 佢哋即係頭先講過啦。嗱，that this page is more like also to men also，佢哋要好有面啦。They also the fear of losing face，好驚住會好 shameful，好驚住會好似好出醜啊，或者好冇面啊。You know, for Chinese men especially, they really focus on that. And then also they have and at this point I forgot to say, they really treasure the hierarchy and the harmony in the society. 成日話係犧牲小我，完成大我啊。Okay, Chinese people, they focus on the big society, the big me, and try to sacrifice the small me. So whenever they say, you know, for the Chinese men, maybe they are very submissive in their company, or maybe they are retired, they are very submissive in their family, maybe very different from you, because they have this belief about respect to their hierarchy, respect to the authority, and all this power difference in the society they respect. So that means they are also very much under pressure. They're very much under pressure of the society, you know, men or women. But okay, then woman also is under a lot of pressure. I think we have recruited more women than men, right? Yeah, so I think we're going to be seeing a lot of ladies. 好多啲女士有啲做咧. Some groups will be seeing men, but some groups will be seeing the ladies. Well, for traditional Chinese woman, it's kind of very difficult. You have heard of 三從四德, right? Have you heard? 三從四德, huh? That means the three follows, 3 compliance and 4 virtues. That means when 在家小事咧就從父，OK， 在家就從夫，老嚟就從子。That means when you were young, you listen to your father. When you were married, you listen to your husband. When you're older, you listen to your son. 三從四德。四德 means you have to have good moral, you know, conduct, and you have to say the proper things, proper speech, and you have to, for Chinese lady, you should look good, you know, having a charming physical appearance for your husband, and it's a 德言容恭 That means you also have a skillful, you know, you have to cook for your family. I remember last time, whenever we visit the ladies last time, there are so many of them. They talk about they have to, you know, spend time going to the market, and they cook for their family. They take care of their family, and this is their duty in the house. And then they have to take care of their husband. They have to take care of their sons and daughters. And when the husband got sick, they have to take care. They have to sacrifice their own time, their own health to take care of their husband. And then they basically they don't really have themselves, you know, 即係冇乜自我嘅觀念啊，冇咗自己㗎啦，根本上 you know, they talk about, you know, spending time is all for the children, all for the family, all for the husband. It's like that. So they have to be faithful to their husband, and 就算佢哋返工even if they work, they have to be choosing the job to be convenient so that they take care of their husband, or they have to be approved by their husband. Okay, for the older generations is like that, you know. So we have to be careful whenever we talk about that. So try not to argue with them. Say, 而家邊興咁㗎，唔係咁㗎啦. You know, we don't do that, okay? We don't give them advice, but we just listen to their difficulties and try to ask more questions, okay? So sometimes even they would blame themselves, you know, for Chinese women, they blame themselves. 即係如果佢屋企有啲咩事發生any problems in the family, maybe for example, the failure of the children, 可能小朋友病啊, or maybe their husband is sick, or any unfortunate event happened to the family, the ladies usually take up the responsibility. 通常都會自責啊。 唉，最好追我啦，我嗰時又咁湊個仔啦，搞到個仔咁啦，you know. It's like that, you know, they would blame themselves for the unfortunate events in the family, you know. So we have to be sensitive and caring, you know, towards them. Yeah.